Hello everyone guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's second episode of How I Restore You. As you can see, the work is progressing. We find the motorcycle in a different state than how we left it last time. Precisely because Luca went on to apply with the frame polishing work and the swing arm. The swing arm that you see has changed and I will explain why in just a moment. Before we start, two important things. First, subscribe to the channel and help me bring more content like this. Show me that you care and that you like the content I bring to you. Wait though, before we roll the intro, I need to steal 2 seconds to talk to you about today's video sponsor. Since every respectable restoration needs a financier or funding in some cases to be able to complete it. So today's sponsor is NordVPN. What is NordVPN? It's one of the most famous VPN services that is virtual private network currently on the internet. It has over 5,000 servers to connect to worldwide. And for those who don't know what a VPN is in 2020, it's nothing more than a tunnel, let's call it that to simplify it, that allows you to connect to the internet securely and with respect for your privacy. In fact, not many people know that when visiting websites, our computers exchange a lot of information with them that the websites collect, and most of the time they end up reselling. Some of the information that is exchanged is relatively important because they are personal things like the internet protocol address, the browser you use, and the place from where you connect. NordVPN shields you from this data theft as it encrypts all the data that you send to websites during browsing. Also, if you often travel and maybe access public Wi-Fi during your trips, NordVPN also allows you to be more relaxed from possible hacker attacks or malware. It is available on all Android, iOS, Mac and Windows devices. Given the sponsorship clearly in the description, you will find an affiliate link and a discount code which will allow you to purchase the service at 68% less, that is just over €3 per month. In addition, it will give you an extra month for free. At this moment, then on their website, there is also the active Cyber Month offer, which allows you to get an extra period if you subscribe to a minimum 2-year subscription with them. All right, that's all I have. I won't take up more of your time. Let's play the theme song. Luca, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Very well.
I see that the work on the swing arm on the frame went well, so you spent on it
Quite a bit of time.
I believe. Let's go show them the difference right away because there are some points that Luca correctly did not go to do as they are covered. So it would have been wasted time. Here you see the entire frame, which at this moment also reflects the glove I'm wearing, and everything is polished to perfection. Here, on the other hand, on this part up here, do you see the difference? This one is grayer, darker, but simply because it's polished. This, on the other hand, is the old polish. The exact same thing, obviously, was also done on the swing arm, which, as I told you in the intro, is not the one we disassembled in the first episode. Why is this? Because
The swing arm on this Suzuki Ram Air Direct was from the 750 model.
some of you, the most attentive, pointed this out in the comments. Let's immediately answer this question. Why was there a 7.5 swing arm?
Because the 7.5 swing arm was reinforced. So the previous owners definitely decided to put that swing arm in to reinforce. That is a chassis.
A bit better. However, since in this restoration process we would like to eventually register the bike in the historical record, because I believe that after the restoration it's something that it deserves. The bike, given its age and the work we are putting into it, we have therefore decided to take a donor bike, so another SRAV 600, to completely finish this bike. Here, as today's work leader, what are we going to do specifically?
So, first of all, I will show you how to remove rust from parts. Okay? Then we will proceed with the assembly of the rear swing arm, the mounting of the engine on the frame, and the insertion of the bushings for the mounting of the steering plates. Once these tasks are completed, we will go on to reassemble the radiator and the exhaust manifolds, then finish with the wrapping of the electrical system and the laying of it in the frame on the engine. Naturally.
So we don't have a small job ahead of us today. I would say let's get started right away, starting from, as you said, the removal of the light. That is, explain to us what you did.
So, We're going to soak for 24 hours in warm water and baking soda all the pieces that have rust or are otherwise dulled if they are made of aluminum. After the 24 hours, we dry them well and we're going to immerse them in WD. 40 in order to be able to eliminate the last parts of rust and also give protection to all the pieces we're going to work on.
So all of this we can say will take us about a day and a half.
A day and a half.
So 24 hours for the hot water and baking soda and 6 to 12 hours for the WD, 40.
Sure.
The final result, guys, will be this one. The part is almost back clean, free of rust. Clearly, tell me if I'm wrong. If the process doesn't succeed well the first time, we can safely repeat it without damaging anything.
Certainly.
Repeat the process until the shortened result is optimal.
Optimal, certainly.
Perfect. Having said that, let's proceed with the installation of the engine and the connection of the swing arm. And the first part of the process is done. The engine is back in the frame and secured. We just need to secure the bottom part, that is the fourth bolt from the left side, which goes all the way to the bottom of the frame on the right side. And after that we move to the swing arm, also securing that to the frame. And while Luca continues the installation of the swing arm, meanwhile I handle the steering head bearings. A crucial task, much like everything else covered thus far. Me or Luca? We proceed first with cleaning to remove that residue, grease, dirt, etc. that we encountered during the disassembly phase. As you can see here, in fact, we have the upper part, which will go right under the plate, as far as the steering column is concerned. Here, on the other hand, we have the bearings with their respective conical bushing that we have already proceeded to clean, but I'll show you the final result. For cleaning, you can easily use WD-40, perhaps soaking everything for a few minutes and then giving it a good clean with a paper towel. As you can see, the result is quite good. We're going to do the same on the bearings, but on the bearings we need to use a specific grease because the WD-40 evaporates after a while, it dries up, so it wouldn't be good. Use a specific bearing grease readily available at hardware stores for best results. Look at the dirt that accumulates in the paper towel. But the sight of the bearing is worth it. The grease that we got together with Luca is this one, and we're going to apply a bit on the inside. Don't overdo it, of course. You'll know the job is okay when there will be enough grease on each bearing. This seems fine to me. We can also go put some grease on the conical bushing. And you just need to dirty your finger to do a job well done. And then we apply the grease to the bearings as well, to the outer parts, so that everything is well lubricated, 1 and 2. And now that the bearings are well greased, we can proceed with their installation in position inside the steering tube. At this point, we only lack the upper plate, as the bushings, bearings, and lower plate are already on the bike. As you have seen. However, since the upper plate is a bit damaged, Luca is sanding it because we are preparing it for a nice repaint. And while the upper plate is drying from the new paint job, an old computer for old data, right? Luca?
Certainly.
What are we opening?
The complete motorcycle maintenance manual?
Okay, so Jazz XR 600 and 7.5 are the same. We have the manual for the 600. And we're going to look at all the correct torque settings to be made with the torque wrench, because obviously for safety reasons, all the most important tightening we're going to do with the torque wrench. So the frame screws seem pretty important, don't they, Luca?
Certainly.
And let's go check and tighten them properly. What's the next step, Luca?
To assemble the rear frame.
Front frame.
Front frame.
And then we take care of the
electrical cable.
Perfect, so we'll show you in just a moment. the laying out and the new bandaging of the electrical system. Why is it important to bandage the electrical system?
Apart from as a protection, because the cables can get cut if not placed correctly. Anyway, with wear, the oscillation of the frame and whatever else could damage them. And moreover, we will shield them both from the weather and from various liquids or fluids that the motorcycle could leak in case of damage.
Let's hope so. That it's not in our case. Okay, so we proceed to reinstall the rear cut here on these 4 screws to the frame. We took the cut from the donor bike that I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. We put the donor bike on this other side, let's say aside. Don't mind the rest, but here it is. This is a bike that was complete until recently, but Luca proceeded to disassemble it. To go and get all those parts that we needed with the donor bike, we managed to get all the parts, or are we missing something?
We're missing something.
It was obvious. Here we are. After some work, we finally got into the electrical system. To help you understand the process, I'll show you which parts need to be redone. This small block, as you can see, has the original manufacturing that has begun to deteriorate and break apart, like this piece of tape here. So simply, what are we going to do? We're going to take the part in question, cut the tape that has given way, and around it, we're going to put it back, the new tape. As you can see, after applying the new cloth tape around the part that had opened, everything is back to new and ready to be installed on the bike. The problem was that the entire electrical system needed restoration, not just this piece. Time to get to work. Going back to the bike, which is gradually coming together. Since the last shot, the handlebars have been added. Since the plates have dried properly, let's move on to the slightly more mechanical part. Reinstall the exhaust manifolds, so we can then install the radiator. Manifolds are now installed, looking nice and flashy with a matte black finish thanks to Luca. They can handle high temperatures. Since these manifolds of this Suzuki GSX-R 699 come out exactly this color, Suzuki had already painted or at least varnished them by then. Next, we will install the radiator. And after successfully installing the radiator, we come to the end of this working day. We finally made it, but before we end the video, we need to get started if we want in some way the next one. Why is this? As you can see, the motorcycle has reached the point where we need to fix the suspensions, which we have already disassembled in advance in the previous episode, both the front and the rear. And we also need to fix the fairings, which you have never seen, but I can assure you are really in terrible condition. This here, on the other hand, is the tank, which, as you can see, is quite rusted with signs of age. So we will have to take the tank and fairings to Giulio Design, who will put everything back in order and get us ready for the final installation of these fairings and this tank. Back on the bike. Instead, we will have to take the suspensions I showed you earlier to Christian, the suspension specialist from Dario's workshop. Having said that, I'm taking Luca with me. Also the rims. You won't know what graphics we've decided to do with Luca until the end, but I can already tell you that it won't be a common GSX-R 600 Suzuki Ram Air Direct. Even if I give you a little help, it will still be original. Let's say the choices are narrowed down to 4. In the comments, let me know what you think the final graphics and colors of the graphics will be that we're going to show you in the last episode. That being said, that's all for this second episode of How I Restore You. I thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, leave a lot of likes so you can let me know that you like the work we're doing. And you encourage me, rather. You encourage us to continue the series. As usual, see you in the next episode, which will be released next Friday. That's all from Green Arrow and Luca. Make sure to follow him on his Instagram page as well, which I'll leave here below in the description. And bye!